Now, not the biggest mistake ever, but it is 400 minerals. We don't want to do that over and over again.
+3 is on the way. Right now the upgrades are quite even. Oliveira just started his +1 air, so the Liberator transition will be quite delayed. And DNS has Disruptors on the way, and I believe this will be the best opportunity for him to use the Disruptors before the critical amount of Liberators are out.
Yeah, at the moment we've got 0. I mean, Oliveira is very Marauder heavy, very Marine heavy. He's got 36 Marines at the moment. I actually wouldn't hate it if DNS, while he's got these massive upgrades, right? +3 attack is about to finish up and he's got +3 armor on the way. I kind of think having a few more Colossus again is not bad. Because right now we only have 1 or 2. I guess he made a second one, but I wouldn't hate it if he has a few more. The Viking count is not that high that your Colossus are in danger of melting immediately, and I think they've got big potential against these 36 Marines.
The fight is happening, but I'm not sure if DNS can take this fight because actually the Marauder count is so high.
Yep, and we also have to wait, right? We're seconds away from +3. It's going to make the Protoss army a bit more powerful. Both armies have potential. There is a world where Oliveira wins the fight if DNS messes up a little bit or he drops a couple of big EMPs. The tanks are well protected. Oliveira can absolutely win the fight. But if DNS can land a Great Nova, has a good flank, is able to pick off a couple of the key units quickly, whether those are the tanks or the Vikings, there is also a chance that DNS wins the fight. It really comes down to execution right now. Oliveira says, I'm having none of that all-out army fight, as he goes for a quad drop in the main base, and there's a couple of pylons here that are going to be very important. Every single Phoenix is going to get picked up immediately, and Oliveira is looking to pull DNS apart.
Yes, this is a very scary push because it's definitely going to kill the base. DNS has to respect the drop on the main base, but all Phoenix went down, so we can't really... Oh, big Novas, but the base still goes down. A couple of Disruptors go down as well, and to be honest, both players lose a lot of units. I believe the main base got cleared up, and...
not that bad for DNS, man. If he can spend his money right now and immediately grabs it, goes to the other side of the map, I think he's got some potential. Because you mentioned those Liberators a while ago. Well, the Fusion Core just finished up, but we don't have Liberators yet. We don't have Advanced Ballistics yet. This is one hell of a Protoss army. I actually think if DNS goes for it right now, pedal to the metal, Oliveira is going to have a very hard time. Because you look at this army, it's already a bit better than Bruce, and there is no good answer for all these Robo units. We know that DNS can be a very macro-oriented player, but sometimes you just have to pull the trigger and go for it because there is so much potential in his army.
Yes, exactly. And don't forget, 4 Medivacs went down, so there is no healing power again.
Exactly, I'm 100% with you. Maybe the fact that we don't have a War Prism scares us, but we could have just queued it up or built a pylon and a gateway like DNS. This is a sick army, mate, and right now you can fight against a Terran that doesn't really have any Liberators yet. If we wait another minute, we're looking at probably 6-7 Liberators with Advanced Ballistics, and suddenly the army that you're currently working with is going to feel a whole lot less impressive. Oh, it's a shame for DNS here. Really do feel like we had a tiny bit of a missed opportunity. He's still going to try to make maybe something happen, but enough time has gone by for Oliveira to heal up his forces, get Liberators out, getting closer to those big late game upgrades. And that doesn't mean that it's all bad news for DNS, but it just becomes a completely different game.
A nuke. Do you think it's going to achieve much or not really?
I think it's absolutely going to kill that pylon.
Yeah, I think it
or
can
the cannon,
as well.
sorry.
Okay, not bad, not bad. Probably a good trade for DNS actually, but you saw a nuke, which is cool.
The first of perhaps many. Has a couple of Zealots running through weirdo mines. I mean, these cloaked mines really proving to be pretty annoying. DNS does have Disruptors, and you can obviously kill the Widow Mines without seeing them with a Nova, but it does take a little while, and I guess it can be butted as Oliveira jumps on a portion of the army of DNS, and we see at least an Immortal going down. Immortals are important. A couple of single Stalker and Sentry went down, as another nuke gets queued up. Oliveira said, I've been here all day, I am ready to put on one hell of a show. I'm not getting on this stage to get off it 20 minutes later.
I'm getting very worried for DNS right now because the Liberator keeps growing and we didn't really achieve anything in this window of opportunity we had.
I feel like DNS has a really good choke when Oliveira is just working with the Marines, Marauders, and the tanks, but Oliveira's army is getting so much better at the moment, so much more powerful, and DNS lost all those Phoenixes earlier. We haven't even spoken about Liberators potentially harassing the bases, as DNS just wants to go for it. EMPs connect in a big way, Stalkers are melting. Those tanks in the backline were putting in serious work, and DNS, who felt rich once upon a time, is now scraping for pennies as he fires a few Novas. But Oliveira is just going to disengage, and he's going to get closer and closer with them tanks, with the lips. He's just crawling forward. Nice little kill there on the Marauder. Obviously, every single unit you can get for free. But I feel for DNS take a great fight. We need a bit of a flank. He just goes for it, head first, blinks in, does gun down all the Liberators rather quickly. He gets the tank as well. The Zealots are right on top of the Marauders. Honestly, that is as good as DNS was ever going to do here. What a moment to go for it right before those extra Liberators showed up.
Yeah, he saw exactly the moment when Oliveira unleashed his Liberators, he pounced, and it was the best fight he could have ever gotten. But the problem right now is the economy. So once again, we have to do something across the map, because otherwise we won't be able to keep up with this Terran economy with a lot of orbitals, with 5 full bases. It will be very hard.
Yeah, DNS still somewhat rich too. Would really love a couple of observers by now. And we have a Robo Bay. I don't get why we wouldn't get observer speed in a moment like this. It is just such a useful, underrated upgrade. It's really not that expensive if you're a 4 or 5 base Protoss. I almost think it's mandatory, especially when someone is being annoying with cloak mines all over the map.
Definitely, this is a very important upgrade, because vision is everything in this matchup. This drops actually gets unspotted, so it manages to get a lot of probes and get away. Stalkers tried to chase it, but it didn't work out. Also, a Medivac upgrade, so the energy problem will be finally solved.
Yeah, I'm worried for DNS, because he's done very good against some of these armies a couple of times, but we've never had Oliveira with the Dream Army. It was getting better, and he kept on improving the army, but we haven't seen that one moment where we're not looking at 3 Liberators or like 5 libs, but 2 of them are on siege. There is going to be a moment where DNS is going to be forced to fight in range of 10 or 12 Liberators, and that is going to be almost impossible unless you just outmaneuver the army. But it's not impossible on Oceanborn, but it's definitely far from easy. He is queuing up a Phoenix to maybe deal with some of those Medivacs that have been annoying, that are low on HP and just floating around. And of course the Liberators that can just shift click across the map. Advanced Ballistics, one hell of an upgrade. With Stalkers, it is so painful to clean this up, even with a single Phoenix killers. I'm sure you know all about it. It just feels like it takes forever.
Yeah, it's very hard to deal with Liberators on this map, and actually a very big attack from Oliveira comes very good Novas, but this base still goes down, and it puts DNS in a very tough economical spot.
Yep, DNS is rebuilding, and Next is in the bottom left. He is rotating his army up the ramp. He's going to try to flank these Liberators, but Oliveira picked up on it, so he's going to re-siege everything. Now, if everything gets re-sieged, maybe the Stalkers can find an opening here. As they do blink, EMP lands, but not a single Liberator. But I feel like you should always leave 1 or 2 libs at least. It doesn't have to be 8 on the left or 8 at the ramp. So Oliveira making perhaps a tiny error here and there, but he is just winning the game because of his monstrous economy at the back of it. He has killed 33 probes in the last minute or so of this game, and he's not even done yet.
Yeah, at this point, any trade is good for Oliveira. Like, you might look at it and yeah, he's losing Liberators, he's losing expensive Medivacs, expensive Ghosts and Bio units, but at the end, we just have such a superior economy.
Yep, and DNS does not have the economy right now to drop a fleet beacon and get a 2nd or a 3rd Stargate and get a whole bunch of Tempest out and try to deal with the Liberators in that way. This time DNS is going to grab the units and he goes for it, but it could have been so different, Skillers, if he would have done this a while ago when there were barely any Liberators, when there were no late game Terran upgrades and the Terran army was low on HP. At that point, I believe, maybe DNS would have believed too, but he just didn't want to throw, I guess. Unfortunately, now he finds himself in a position where his army really can't do it anymore. He may land a good Novar too, but that was actually very good micro on the side of Oliveira. And he's just going to spread more and more circles close to this Protoss army. DNS is doing the very best to make something happen, but he knows that he has officially ran out of steam. Oliveira, too big, too powerful, and your world champ of 2023 takes the 1-0 lead.
But still, very impressive game, but definitely impressed.
I 100% agree. He had a lot of good moves. Even that first cleanup against the turrets and the Broncos, that could have been very hard. He went for it with battery overcharge, took a good initial fight, went back, just counted down the seconds for that 2nd overcharge, went for it again. He eventually got the cleanup, got up to 9 Phoenixes, kept being active with them, found freebies everywhere. DNS had a lot of good moments, and maybe there was that one moment where he won that fight and he had those Colossus and Disruptors left. If at that point he says, I want to see what you have on the other side of the map, I think he would have taken a great fight.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think he ever took a very bad fight, right? Like, he mostly got out-positioned on the map and lost his bases, but if at any point of the game he would just go across the map, try to scare Oliveira a little bit, this game could look completely different.
I think the initial start of the fight at his fourth base was kind of bad. When he ran into all those tanks, when he lifted them and he lost a bunch of Phoenix, that was a bad start to the fight, but at least he realized that rather quickly. He's like, this is not going my way, so he retreated, and then he actually got a much better fight a little bit later on because he played it well. But maybe that was the only poor engagement throughout the entire game. But good to see Oliveira actually being forced to play like a 20-something minute game, because we don't get to see those a whole lot from Oliveira, but obviously he's very good in those two.
Yes, I'm very excited for the next game because it's going to be Amphion, and we're probably going to see Stargate again.
Should be, or maybe he has seen Hero Strategy with the proxy Dark Shrine, proxy Robo.
That was cool.
That was very cool until it got scouted.
Yeah, you know what you can do? You can put the pylon and plug the wall from the other side.
So the Reaper can never get in, and the Reaper wouldn't know it. Perhaps DNS saw that, and he's like, you know what? This has potential. Anything that looks like we're going full NA StarCraft has potential. Sixth series of the day. After this, we've got two more. I believe one of them is a ZVZ between Nidix and Solar, and you guys will also get to see the 2024 World Champ, Clem, as he's going to take on a Fiant. Here in the second game, though, of our sixth series of the day, we are looking at the main base of our Chinese Terran player. Give it up for Oliveira.
And at the bottom side of Amphion, it's our French Portos player representing Berserkers Esports, DNS. Already with a very interesting start, because he chooses to go for a gas before gateway. It means that he will be quite greedy, but his gas count will be very, very high.
Probably Stargate once more now, because I do feel like Stargate is good. And hey, DNS showed us that he's an excellent Phoenix player. He took very few bad fights with them. He was active with them, sniping those reinforcements. Even when at one point there was no fighting, he still found an opening in the natural, and he grabbed like 7 Marines there too. It was very cool to see a player like DNS not just be like, oh, okay, I survived, and now my Phoenixes are here to protect my Colossus and prevent Ravens from sitting behind my base, but I still have 200 energy. No, absolutely none of that. Was incredibly active with them, and I thought it was a very cool display of the power of the Phoenix. You know, most of the time when I play them, they just fly into Widowmites, but DNS showed us how much you can get done.
Yeah, Nexus before core goes down, and I really like the build order choice. I think it's smart to play a little bit on a greedier side against an opponent that is considered stronger than you. So this is definitely a good choice. And Oliveira is once again playing Reaper Expand without any scout, and I believe he will try to defend the first Adept with Reaper and 2 Marines once again. But as we see, DNS is not going for that, so yeah, I mean, it's even for both parties. Marine, as I said, and maybe on this map we're actually going to see a third CC.
In all my years, Nikita, this is the first time that I'm truly doing an outdoor StarCraft 2 event. And it's so bizarre how like it was very bright and sunny, right? And it was obviously very warm, but now the sun's gone down and it really got mega dark over here. It's like a completely different vibe in the venue. All of a sudden it kind of feels like we're back indoors, even though we're not at all, but it's crazy. And this kind of sank in. I was like, man, everything looks so different than it did a couple hours ago.
DNS actually went for a sentry before any unit, and he still went for Stargate, which is a very unusual opening, I would say, and it can definitely throw Oliveira off guard. I don't think Reaper will be able to kill the sentry, especially with Adept coming out, but it causes a lot of trouble already, because props can't mine, and this Reaper actually might scout on top of the main. Yeah, it's so awkward, it's very hard to...
This is going to be annoying, as at least this probe should always get picked off. This is why I would never open Sentry myself. I know there's a couple players out there that are a fan of it, and you do obviously get that extra bonus energy, so you can get a very quick scout off, and you know exactly what you have to worry about. But against world-class Terran players, it just feels like their Reaper become 3 times more powerful. If you don't have an Adapter, you don't have a Stalker, it's so difficult to defend against this kind of stuff with a Sentry. But hey, losing only a single probe, I think it's acceptable, but it's still stressful.
Okay, on the bright side, Oliveira actually didn't manage to scout the tech of DNS, and it's Phoenix once again. Unfortunately, it won't really come into play that much, because Oliveira plays the same build order, I believe, as in a previous game. So, oh no, he mixes it up. He goes for a Cyclone and he goes for a Starport. So this there is a high chance that it will be a double drop. So 16 Marines gonna go across the map, and I'm not really sure if yeah, the DNS definitely has to scout it. Otherwise, it can bring a lot of trouble.
even when you scout it, it's still very difficult to deal with it because it takes a long time before you get your first Colossus out. And if 60 Marines get unloaded in your main base and you don't have a Colossus, well, it's kind of just curtains. Immediately, the game will end. So it is very, very important for DNS to have the Phoenixes in the right spot all the time. But then you also have to worry about these Cyclones that are obviously going to try to lock on your Phoenixes and soften them up a little bit. This one pylon, by the way, it also scares me. I'd like to see a second pylon because our entire game right now relies on this one pylon powering the gate, the robo, and the battery.
Luckily for DNS, Oliver is actually not going for the quickest double drop possible. He still went for a Cyclone as a safety measure. So
he's got two, no? Doesn't he have two Cyclones, or am I crazy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, so it definitely delayed this double Medivac drop. And now it will be very important for DNS to actually see where these two Medivacs are heading to, because if you don't meet them with Phoenix and slow them down a little bit, it will be very hard.
Well, the confidence in DNS to still just send a probe to the low ground. I mean, it's also one of these, like, you're doomed if you do, you're doomed if you don't scenarios, right? You kind of have to go up to 3 bases, and sometimes the quicker you take it, the safer it is, because there is actually a lot more HP on the Nexus. So even if this may seem very adventurous, this is better than trying to warp it in at 545, because then the Marines are there, they activate Stim, they kill it immediately. But this is still hard, because right now DNS's army is just never ever capable of battling 60 Marines with Stim and a medevac. We need that Colossus.
Yes, and I'm afraid there is no battery on the third base yet, so it will be very hard to fight against this double drop coming. Maybe DNS thought it's the same
no, the
build,
unit.
No, oh no. Sentry goes down, Adept goes down, and I'm afraid there is just nothing to deal with this.
No, because Oliveira knows that obviously the Phoenixes were active on the other side of the map. That cannon or battery did not get cancelled, and Oliveira is now going to go for this Nexus. The Phoenixes are back, but still, even with the Phoenixes, DNS can't fight this many Marines. I do think Oliveira should be a bit more decisive. He could absolutely go for that Nexus. Doesn't want to instead, maybe he wants more units, but the longer you wait, the more likely it is that this Colossus is going to show up, and a single Colossus could absolutely turn the tide here. The Big Daddy Colossus is here, more cannons are going to get, or more batteries are going to get cancelled. Oliveira now trying to outmaneuver it. Immort should go for the tank immediately. Phoenixes will go for it instead. Look at this one Colossus killers. Can it save the game for DNS? It cannot. It gets picked up by Marines, and unfortunately I think that is the end. DNS really tried to keep this a third and Nexus alive, but losing that Colossus is the beginning of the end.
It always hurts my soul when I see Colossus die to only Marines. And in this case, it was very dicey, and third base goes down, and I'm not sure if there's any comeback potential for DNS at this point.
Yeah, DNS tried so hard a couple of times to get a battery up there, and if there would have been a battery, all of that would have gone so different. Or even a battery there in the corner of the high ground that can actually heal up a couple of units from the low ground. With one battery, if you save the Colossus there, you save the Nexus, and everything would have been different. I do gotta give kudos, by the way, for how Oliveira made that dive, because his Marines were very scattered. They were not all on one line, so we didn't see any moment where the Colossus was damaging 6 Marines at once. It was always just a couple. So beautiful moment to fully send it there on the side of the man from Weibo Gaming, as he is, well, on pole position to close this one out 2-0. It's been a very fun series, especially that first game had a lot of great moments. Unfortunately, here in the second game, DNS not really able to get things going. Still doing his best with the Phoenixes, finding one Marine at a time, but it kind of is an unfair fight when we are looking at a 3-base Stara against a 2-base Phoenix Colossus player. DNS needs a miraculous fight with a Guardian Shield and battery overcharge. That's like your only hope.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, Vikings, tanks, it's so hard to deal with them. First Colossus gets jumped on, second Colossus also goes down, and yeah, there is absolutely no chance to kill these Marines now.
Still no batteries here. They were about to finish up, but Oliveira is relentless. Our Chinese Terran shows us that he still has his aggressive spice in TVP as well. GG gets called. And it's your 2023 World Champ of StarCraft 2 that will advance into the upper bracket quarterfinals. It was a fun series, those Skillers.
Yeah, I really like the first game. I think it had a lot of potential. Second game went a little bit worse, but of course the build order was very hard to hold.
Yep, still a couple of fun moments, and not every day that we see Marines stemming forward, going all out for that Colossus kill. That is risky because you don't always have vision as a Terran player, so imagine if a random battery would have started healing that Colossus. It could have all been so different. Overall, fun series. Let's hear from our champ himself, Oliveira, as he's on stage with Kozio.
Well, congratulations, Oliveira. You played an amazing series, so I'm going to ask you straight. It didn't work out in the first game, but it did in the second game. So what did you change in that push so that you make it work?
Well, like I feels like he will like the 1 or 3 game, like 1 to 3 game, always like Phoenix classes. But first game and when I practice and it's work like make bunker and tower. But I don't know why the first game I'm very behind. But I thought I just like play countdown and play long game.
Yeah, definitely. And in the long game, we saw how good you are actually. Do you think in that first game you could have went Liberators a little bit quicker because it seemed that that was the key to win?
Yeah, like I tried that, but I don't have. I think like when I check replay, I don't have like enough guys because I need to make ghosts first. So yeah, I hope I can be Liberators faster. So it will be work.
Yeah. Great. Well, that's it from Oliver. Let's hear it up once more for. Okay, that was a good game from our world champion. So we're gonna get going into a short break once again, and then we're gonna be back on the stage.
Well, I'm just very exciting, and I'm very happy to come to Bulgaria. It's my first time to come to Serbia, and my friend told me this city like a long history in Europe, so I will very enjoy this time here. Well, like when the UWC World Cup finish and this like new match offline, so I think I will just relax, play and jump. So yeah, I just try to play my best. Well, just a little bit nervous, but like more happy. Yeah. Well, of course, I think like Climb and Raynor and this that like Solar, they are all very good players, and this time there's so many Protoss players. And I think my QP now is not very well. So I think if you say I think like when I play with Protoss, I have a little bit I think harder. So others I think like Raynor, Solar, Climb. I think TVT and TVT is fine. Yeah, I'm very happy to join this time offline tournament, and I will very enjoy this time journey, and I hope I can play my best.
Make the booty bounce on the dance floor. Make the booty bounce on the dance floor.
Exalted with 2 matches remaining today. This one was written in, if not the stars, at least in conversations in the airport because, well, Fiant, Clem, they showed up, and Fiant, the first thing he does, he turns to Clem and says, look, you know, dude, please don't knock me out of the tournament, right? Like, I know you're really good, don't knock me out. And then somehow, through some fate, destiny, I don't know what it is, the stars themselves, maybe Stara Zagora, somehow they get picked into the same matchup here in our first round of the round of 16. I don't know exactly what you did to wait that, but, you know, story writes itself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was written in the stars, as you said, and I believe that even though Fiant was kind of complaining, oh, I got the toughest matchup, I think that this is going to be a great experience for him measuring his skill against the current best player in the world.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he has in store for us today because let's be real here for a second. Fiant is the massive underdog. He's played 16 maps competitively against Clem, and he's lost every single one. Now, you might say, hey, no one beats Fiant 17 times in a row, and maybe you have something going for you there. But more importantly, this is a matchup where if the game goes late, Clem probably wins. So I think Fiant and Clem are both going into this series and saying, okay, how can I throw Clem off his guard? Or Clem, like, making sure he doesn't get thrown off guard. How can Fiant play aggressive early? How can he go and maybe hit a Nidus play or 34 drone, 36 drone roach timing, something like that to really, again, to just try to kneecap Clem before he gets into that late game macro monster that takes down just about everyone.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're the Zerg player here, so I'm interested, what type of a push would you like to see out of Fiant? Maybe
they don't exist.
No? Because currently TVZ is a very mechanical matchup, right? So basically this is what decides it. Strategy sometimes does it too, but again, I feel that it's almost purely mechanical.
Yeah, I think it really is down to how safe Clem decides to open, right? So you can go and you can decide to open with, say, you know, 3 CC, go CC first, and maybe expose yourself just a little bit. But if Clem goes, you know, Hellions into Banshees, that shuts down the majority of things. You can kind of go with some 3 CC, 2-on-1 stuff that shuts down the rest of it.
Yes.
But again, as long as you're playing safe as Clem, I think you're pretty happy. But also, yet again, you are the best Terran player in the world, arguably the best player in the world right now, certainly the reigning world champion. And so maybe you don't have to play that safe. Maybe there's something you can find and, you know, have a little bit.
Fiant handles the pressure here. I believe that the favorite, so I hope that Fiant is going to get into that steady, calm mindset. I really hope that, so he can just perform as he can.
Yeah, that's always the thing we have to talk about here when you're Fiant has nothing to lose.
Yeah,
He was a late add to the tournament. He's coming in. You know, he's been this up-and-coming Zerg player for quite a while now. You know, he's on Alpha X's academy team for a while.
He's only 18 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, the future is ahead of him.
Absolutely.
And with experiences like that, playing world champions on stages, this is how you grow. This is how you progress your career. And I believe that this opportunity, he will try to make the most out of it.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, again, also, there's no pressure on him, right? You know,
yeah,
he's
exactly.
this late ad, right? And it is all on Clem. So sometimes we can see some wild stuff happen when someone comes in, they got nothing to lose. They're like, I'm not expected to win this game. I could just do stuff. And because you're not expecting that, sometimes magic happens.
Are you hinting towards Semester M and Rainer earlier?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't think we're going to see 3 Racks Reaper coming out of Clem, though. I think that was Rainer leaving the door open a little bit too far, and you know, he came back from it. It was fine. But Clem does not strike me as the type of player that, you know, again, given the chance, any part of that door is going to be left open.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He seems very methodical, very precise in his actions. When I watch Clem play, I really don't see that many mistakes in his play. He's as near to perfection as he can be.
Yeah, and especially as we take, as we take a look at this map pool, Oceanborn and Alcyone, probably pretty Clem favorite anyways, the 2 big macro maps. But what had me saying, oh no, is Crimson Court is our decider. I don't know. Yeah, maybe Ghost River, I don't know. But I don't know of any map that is maybe stronger for Terrans right now than Crimson Court.
Yeah, Crimson Court is just so linear. One lane of pushing, as a Zerg, you need to put down the rocks in order to expand. So yeah, it's a difficult map for sure. But I guess Fiant really wanted to remove Ghost River and Amphion. which, by the way, are kind of Terran favorite as well.
Yeah, you know, we are in a Terran map pool right now. That is the long and short of it. But also, hey, Oceanborn, it's a great map. Alcyone has given us some of the greatest games that we've been able to see. Yeah,
I really like that map.
So here's what I'm hearing, right? We're going to have 2 long, incredible macro games. Fion's going to win one of them, and then Crimson Court's going to ruin our hopes and dreams. But, you know, to talk about hopes and dreams here, we have to talk about our game. And I can see it's going to get loaded in. So in the upper left, in the red, he's representing Team Roddy. It is Fiant.
And in the bottom right side of the map, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the current world champion from France. This is Team Liquid's Clem! Already a drone trick, extractor trick, sorry. Yeah.
Already an extractor trick. And there are a couple ways Fiant can take this, by the way. You know, you can make it, you can go aggressive builds off this, absolutely. Go get like a 19 drone roach, something like that. But more importantly, going 15-15. If you're worried about Clem's early game power, early Reaper plays, 2 racks Reaper in the wall type of ideas, getting this earlier hatch can also get you into an earlier pool, which means that, well, your queens are that much faster, your lings are that much faster.
Injects are that much faster, script tumors are faster, so I really like this opener for the Zergs right now.
I don't know. As we take a look at this, we talked about how, okay, Clem is the odds-on favorite by a significant margin. If you're going into the game with that mindset, okay, I have to do something different. I'm going to be punching massively above my weight here as we go on. You want to be cutting corners, right? You want to be doing hitting timings that are faster or being a little bit more greedy, whatever it is, but you want to be cutting corners there, just finding those small advantages. Clem may kill you for taking, realistically, but, you know, again, you're the underdog anyways. You might as well give yourself a shot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I think that the high-risk, high-reward mentality here will be of use for Fiant, so let's wait and see what he brings us. You said earlier in the pre-show that roach timing attack might work. I really like roach timing attacks because they are like heavy hitting. Yes, they are a little bit on a timer, but still though, there is a window where even if the Terran is Clem, you can punish.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how I feel about roach timings, right? So many Terran builds are just so solid against them, right? You know, you can go Hellion into Banshee, and then Roaches just die to Banshees, right? There's no anti-air. It feels really rough. So, you know, maybe 19 drone that does force Cyclones out as Clem is going to go. And we talked about this ability to go 15-15 and therefore have Queens a little faster, have Lings a little... Clem doesn't care. He just kills the drone. Fiant's playing safe, and Clem just kills the drone anyways.
Well, his control is next to none, right? He reminds me of Bellum in his strongest years, right? So the control that this young player is displaying is just wow. And another thing that I want to point out is that Clem is only 22 years old, so he's yet to develop his full potential, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. I remember, you know, the rumors of Clem and Rainer both at these old dream hacks. There's pictures of Clem, right? He's just sitting on a phone book so we can get up on top of the screen.
Exactly.
So, you know, absolutely. He's still young, but he's been playing for a long time. He's held a ton of a promise for a long time. And he is just exerting his will on the map right now. Not only has he killed a drone into a 15-15, which is just not supposed to happen, he's also, again, getting this creep turn. We're delaying the creep spread, which keeps a third base safe that Fiant's now trying to take. And behind this, hey, there's a third command center on the way, but Fiant does have a wrinkle, right? We're talking about how do you go, how do you cut corners, how do you do something a little bit different. There is a very quick layer coming out of Fiant in this game number 1. I heard some rumors about some Nidus ideas that he was talking around with some other players. That does open the door.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The quick layer is something interesting because it really opens the possibility to try and attack in a somewhat of a surprising way. Let's see what strategy the young Zerek will choose, but so far the macro of Clem seems very on point. Ooh, where is this drone going though?
Oh, it's a Proxy Spire. It's Proxy Spire coming on up right now.
Yes!
I have not seen this in years. Now, I don't know what's going to work, right? Because Clem might shove him down.
Doesn't matter, I love it.
But remember, Clem's 3cc, right? He has gone... Wait,
what?
Proxy Hydras?
What is this? What is this? This is going to be a worker rush. Lurker Rush 1000%.
Okay then,
Yeah.
you know what?
Forces are
I like
under
what he's,
attack.
I'm picking up what you're putting down here. Now you would have to pull a second drone or, put a lurker down in the main, but again, that gets fairly easily scouted. Regardless though, Clem is on 3cc. That means his stim is only gonna be done in the next 20 seconds or so. It's still a while way out. You're not building a ton of Marines off this, right? You're not really exploding into your barracks play just yet. So that means that Fiant can play this really tech greedy style, right? Really techy into things without being worried about dying in the next minute or so with a bunch of Marines. So this is going to get him out there. And you say it's lurkers. There's group spines on the way. He's building hydras.
Okay.
Is this just like a Ling Hydra timing that is wild?
I know I haven't seen this. Basically never, so I'm a little bit in uncharted territory right now, Beo, and I believe you're kind of caught off guard as well.
Yeah, so Mio Micah does something like this, right? With these Ling Hydra timings that he goes and tries to kill everyone with. I don't think I've seen it proxied, but again, it's a similar idea. You get a very quick layer, you had like 10 Hydras on top, a bunch of Lings. Problem is, Clem's on the map right now, and we talked about this timing where Fiant doesn't have to be too afraid. Realistically, there should be enough Hydras and Lings, but I think Clem, he saw at least one of those Hydras on the scan. That should tell him roughly what's happening, and now he's going to try to stim on top. That's a free Hydra, that's another one, and a third one's going to fall down, and you just back up, you find some value, trying to get the medevac, but he's still boosted, so high ground, low ground, will be able to make its way out. Gets a couple Hydras, which in this part of the game are very expensive, and gets out just totally scot-free.
Well, yeah, he did receive some hull damage on the medivac, but still, that's nothing basically, yeah. But still, though, I like the creativity here. I like the style that Fiant is trying, and he's pumping up more and more Hydra. So who knows? He's pumping more Overlords as well. If he gets to that 200 supply Link Bane Hydra Zerg.
This is a ticking time bomb, right? That's the important thing here. Clem is so turtled up. He's got a big wall, he's got bunkers, he's got tanks. And this style, because remember, Fiant's only on about 43 drones. This style is not something that grows into the game. Yes, there's a Baneling nest on the way, but this is all about this speed Hydra timing.
All right.
Hydra Ling, 10 seconds until muscular augments. If Fiant can break Clem, or at least get substantive damage, maybe force the third base to lift, kill off a couple SCVs, that's going to be worth doing. But look at what Clem's doing right now. He is so fast, just playing with that high ground, making it so hard for Fiant to even go up with the high ground. Yeah, eventually there are enough Hydras that he forces his way through. But Clem snipes one or two, and if you keep doing that over and over again,
it will add up. It will add up, yeah.
This person that might have 115 supply is now 109, and it's not nearly as strong.
And Fiant needs to be hitting right now, right? And Clem is kind of parrying that, so behind that he is developing his upgrades, his army. He's getting bigger and bigger. We see +1/+1 already finishing, while +1/+1 just started for the Zerg.
Yeah, it seems like Fiant's already backing out of this at this point as well. It's like, okay, well, I had this timing. Clem got the scout early. He's killed like 5 Hydras. That doesn't feel all that good. Okay, 1-1 on the way. Let me drone up behind this. But the problem is, again, this was a 330 layer, right? This is a massive, actually, no, Hydras, or he's going to jump on top of this right now. Line of sight blocker makes it very hard, though. So he's going to have to back up. What we're seeing, though, is just how good Hydras can be against Marines in low numbers. It feels weird.
Yes, it feels very weird, honestly. But they are good. Especially with both upgrades finished, Hydras become very potent.
It does. Now, Scarlet was doing something like this for a little bit, where she was going mass Hydra with a couple Infestors, right? And just hitting this timing 1-1 Hydras, 2 Infestors.
Yeah, that was very cool strategy. Yeah, I remember.
So I'm looking at this, and yes, Banelings are great, but against Clem, Banelings are not quite as good.
Yeah, you need something to slow down the Marines with, right? So Infestors are very good, but let's see this fight, because Clem is pushing in the middle. 3 tanks here, sieged up, but a nice arc from Fiant. He's trying his best to clean this up. Will he be able to do so? I don't think so. Clem is cleaning house here. All of the Hydras have fallen down, and we see a substantial lead in army supply.
Absolutely. Their tanks are so good against Hydras. They outrange them. They splash them down. Proxy Hydras, there we go. Game's over. GG. But this was a weird build. Proxy the Hydra Den. Clem didn't scout it the entire game. But once you see the first side, it's like, okay, I'm just building tanks, all right? I don't need Widow Mines. I just need 4 tanks, and I will be so fine.
All right, though, but you think that should have been a Spire, or did you like the Hydra idea? Now in retrospective.
I feel like, on the one hand, so we saw Raynor just beat Clem with Mutiling Bane.
Yes.
Right? We saw him able to abuse that. If you can keep Clem back at home with your mutas and your Ling run bys, that can work out great. But generally, those are macro Mutiling Bane ideas, right? You have a third base, you're well prepared. Although, I guess, in one of those games, Raynor did have to go 2-base Spire because he was so delayed in taking his third. So, on the one hand, yes, can Fiant pull off Mutiling Bane at the level that Raynor has? I don't know. And this Hydra idea is, if Clem didn't see those Hydras, and you're hitting with like 120 army supply of Ling Hydra, and Clem doesn't have a bunker, he doesn't have a tank on the high ground, he's maybe going Widow Mines because that's how he generally plays. Yeah, I can see that working.
It might
absolutely.
be a different story, yeah, absolutely. But very smart from Clem to scan, you know, and yeah, it was a little bit of unlucky thing for Fiant to review the Hydras like that, but what can you do about that?
Yeah, well, not a lot. You get stimmed down by Clem is what happens at the end of the day. But again, this is Clem, right? You know, he's good not just because he has some of the best mechanics in the world, not just because he is so good at the macro, but also he reads the game really well.
Yes.
You know, half the time it's these players that are trying to, again, in the late game it's a different story, but are trying to just pull the wool over his eyes because they don't want to play him in a standard macro game. And if you're going to get this high, you're going to have to run into a lot of that. So Clem, a lot of experience dealing with that. And now, well, it's Alcyone. It's map number 2 Exalted. It's another big macro map, but there is a gold base.
Yes, there is one, and let's not forget that Alcyone was picked by the Zerg player, so who knows, maybe he has something prepared, but I really believe, Bellum, that if he has another wonky build like that, he should use it as well.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you know, it's like, okay, you might run into Oliveira later on or something, but Clem is the terror,
yeah, he is the guy, right? He's the guy to beat. When we asked the players in the interviews, who do you think the favorite is, basically all of them said Clem, so when you're playing against him, you should be like all-in my opinion. Yeah.
Now, there is some logic to say, okay, I probably don't beat Clem here, right? You know, we are now 17-0 in Clem's favor when they've run into each other. Maybe it makes sense for me to go and say, okay, well, I probably don't beat Clem.
Okay.
But I might run into a Terran in the lower bracket. And it makes more sense for me to go and save that proxy Hydra idea or something like that. And save that for maybe when my life's on the line. Maybe when there's someone that I'm a little bit closer to, a little bit higher likelihood of going and beating. Now, again, Fiant not taking that. He's like, look, I know I'm gonna swing at the king, and maybe I'm gonna miss, but I'm gonna give it the old puncher's chance. And Alcyone maybe is gonna give him that second option.
Let's see, because we are already on the map, ladies and gentlemen. And in the top right side, we have the a leader in the series with a 1-0. This is Clem.
And in the bottom left, all the way from Sweden, he's representing Team Roddy down a map in this series. It's Fiant.
Yeah. With the beautiful Team Roddy logo, I really like it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Phoenixes?
Yeah. They're cool unit, bro. They're a cool unit. I know you're a Zerg, but their lasers are so cool, especially when they become purple.
I was gonna say it's a little sad right now that Fiant actually he is a as a Zerg player he can't make those Phoenixes, so he's not gonna be able to rely on that one. But again, I'm just really curious how Fiant decides to approach game number 2. We saw again Proxy Hydra game number 1, and I don't think I can remember Exalted the last time I saw a proxy Zerg tech. It used to be the thing, right? You put a bunch of overlords in the corner, proxy Aspire.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I saw that.
Yeah, me neither. I think the last time I personally saw it was in a Bulgarian StarCraft League tournament like 4 years ago. You know, MSRM did it on one of the maps, of course. Who else, right? And I was like shouting and screaming how cool that is. But yeah, the Hydra then I really didn't expect.
Not at all. It's funny you talk about MSRM here and his history of proxying things. It's kind of fun. So again, Fiant has been going around he's been talking to Showtime. He's been talking to Raynor. He's been talking to a ton of players behind the scenes about, I pulled Clem here. What can I do? How can I take him down? And different ideas. Some people said you can't. Some people said, well, you just got a little bit of smarts here. You can find some timings. You can expose him. And first of all, it's really interesting to see how different players kind of approach running into someone that they would be not necessarily favored against. But I know Fiant I've seen heads together between Fiant and MSRM for a couple different times in this tournament.
Okay, maybe.
Just maybe.
Yes. But the Reaper is here though, and this drone was trying to go to the third base, but it's not going to reach its destination just yet. Good save though by Fiant. Second save by him now. The links are out, so maybe he will save this drone as well. Yeah. Good. This time, a little bit of a better defense.
I always wonder, right, when you need to go and kind of cancel a drone, you need to go spore cancel a drone like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
It starts to become the cost of that drone, right?
Yeah, that's true. But still though, when you cancel it, it goes straight to mining again. So it's better to do that than to fire up a new drone because it takes time to build it.
Yeah, certainly for a couple. I mean, like sometimes you see Clem just forces that cancel like 4 or 5 or 6 times. Like at that point,
Yeah, for sure. But at least Fiant could take his base.
Yeah, there we go. Already, and this game is already going a lot better than Game 1 did. He doesn't lose a drone, hasn't lost a creep tumor. Third base delayed a little bit, but you know, still faster than the last game because he did go for the 330 layer, and all that is going for himself. But again, Clem, on the other hand, playing very safe, right? We got a factory just about done, factory done, Hellions on the way. I mean, Starport's just going to complete, like, just getting yourself ready for the jack of all trades.
I was interested what the Starport will do, and apparently we have a Liberator straight away. This could be a good distraction for Clem, because if he puts it in the mineral line of Yant and then pushes in the natural, for example, maybe he can get some drone kills like that.
Yeah, it's also just a little cheaper in terms of gas than going for going for Banshees and going for Cloak, something like that. So
whoa, barbecue! 2 drones are going down, but so far. No, be careful, Pian. No, okay, good defense. 3 drones is not that bad.
Yeah, it's only 2 Hellions, right? So it's not one shot. With the Reaper, it's starting to one-shot drones, but otherwise, not really. Oh, something dove into the natural, I guess. And we talked about how 2 Hellions, they 2-shot, it's not a big deal. If Fionn is distracted in the main base, those 2 Hellions absolutely feast in the natural. So yeah, nice defense in the main base, Fionn. Unfortunately, Clem micros in literally 3 spots at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see the Hellions are coming. They're not respecting the Queens at all. They're going straight to the main. Let's see if more drones are going to fall. Oh, the block was late. The block was very late. And now the drones are exposed.
That traitor drone there, just not letting him do anything that he wants, and now just absolutely feasting. Yeah, it's only 4 drones going down, but also a couple cancels and a ton of lost mining time. And these drones are just not allowed to mine in this base for a little bit. And the Liberator and the Natural as well.
He's relentless, he's brutal, he's your world champion, ladies and gentlemen. And he shows why he is the best Terran versus Zerg player in the world. He's just smashing right now.
Yeah, gave Fionn a puncher's chance in game number 1, let him do his fun build, and I was like, okay, let me remind you just how fast I am, right?
Yes.
24 dead drones, no mining in the natural. I think he's mining the main base now.
And he's continuing to delay the mining with the Liberator. Yes, the Queens are going to take care of that, but who cares? It already paid itself.
Yeah, Fionn's on 23 drones right now. I mean, it's tempting to do the caster thing of like, what exactly can Fionn do to come back into this game? The answer is Clem has to run, just has to AFK into Banelings, is something at this point. Clem has built such a lead in this game from this early game harass that it is going to be a very difficult situation, but who knows? Maybe Fionn has something interesting in store. Maybe we see Proxy Spire this time, and at least we get to see something.
Yeah, but for a Proxy Spire you need minerals and gas, and when you are not mining, you cannot afford such a fancy thing. Yeah, it seems nice, but when there are no workers working for you, it's difficult to achieve that.
Yeah, I do like what Fionn's doing, by the way. Again, the damage was done where this is, even if the players are even, this is a 99-1 type of situation. But Fionn is saying, okay, look, I need to come back into this game. I'm going to skip every iota of gas mine. I'm going to pull everything out of gas. I'm just going to go, and this is going to power my drone economy.
Yes.
And look, he was on 24. He's on 51 again. He's got a Baneling nest on the way. He's mining gas again. Lair is going to be very far behind. 1-1's going to be very far behind. His Ling's going to look for a run by. There are a couple Marines here. SCV is on the pull, is going to be fine. But again, more importantly here, yes, tech is going to be delayed, but at least he's been able to redevelop that economy. He will have Banelings to maybe defend this push. But this also just might mean that we get to take a look at Clem, and slow Banelings versus Clem's target fire is a thing of beauty.
Oh yeah, it is. But I really like what Fionn did though, with removing all the gas mining minerals. This army is not going to win it for Clem, so maybe Fionn has some more time to pull out extra links. He's actually firing 5 more drones. That's kind of confident, isn't it?
Confidence, desperation, they're 2 sides of the same coin.
Yes,
so Fionn, again, he understands that if he loses this push, fine, okay, he's already in a really bad spot in this game, but if he can go squeeze out 10 more drones, get himself up to full 3-base saturation, that much, or back up to 3-base saturation that much faster, maybe those are the type of corners that he can cut to maybe make something happen. He's got plenty of Lings at the front as well, especially with Queens behind. So this push, these Marines right here, really shouldn't kill Fionn, but it's the extra 2 set of medevacs, the extra 16 Marines.
Oh yes.
That's where things get very scary.
Well played, Clem. Well played, Fionn, though, as well. He gave it his all. Yeah. So I think he should be, he's not going to be happy with the result, but he played well.
Yeah, we can see the smile on his face, too. I mean, the proxy Hydra ready in game 1, taking a page out of Mio Micah's book. That was fun, you know, and I think if Clem didn't see the Hydras, maybe there's some opportunity where something happens, but...
Yeah, let's hear the champ of the world, and Katie, I take it away.
Well, welcome back on stage here where Clem clinched the 7th series of the day. Congratulations, Clem. Please give it up for Team Liquid's Clem. Wow, of course, a dominant performance in your arguably best and favorite matchup, the TVZ. Well, I want to ask you, after that dominant last month against all the Zergs that you had to play, did you have time to relax or did you focus on practicing even more for this tournament?
Well, I went in vacation for a week and relaxed a bit and also took a little break from StarCraft. But I've been back to playing again quite a bit the past week or so. Yeah, I feel pretty good in general.
Nice, well done. And going back to that first game, what was going through your head when you saw those Hydras? Were you surprised when you saw them? And how did you decide to react to them?
Yeah, I was very surprised because I saw he was on 2 bases for a while, and I saw he had a quick lair. So in my mind, it was going to be mutas. So in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm going to be really careful with my first 2 medevacs, don't overcommit, and then try to defend like the muta ling timing that's going to come my way. And I was very surprised when I saw the Hydras, and it was a lot of Hydras as well, and they were like behind my Marines. So I got a bit scared because I feel like I almost got a little bit lucky to not lose my medevacs on the Hydras because I was not expecting them.
Yeah, and actually they were hidden from an overlord, so there was no chance for you to see them. And your next potential opponent is going to be against Azert and possibly Solar. How do you feel about that much going up against him?
Yeah, I would feel pretty good. But of course, yeah, Solar would be a very hard opponent. But yeah, I would feel pretty good.
Nice. Well, congratulations once again. I'll leave you to rest now. It's getting quite late here. And guys, we have one more series left. Please give a round of applause for Clem once more. So we're going to go one last time into a short break, and then we're going to be back with Nitix against Solar.
Well, I thought it was really cool to have a tournament in Bulgaria because I've never been to Bulgaria before, and I was very curious about the country, and yeah, it's a great experience, and yeah, I was very happy to participate. I'm going to try to win, but I also I don't have any particular like expectations for myself. I'm just going to play and see how it goes, but yeah, I'll just do my best. I don't think I've ever played in an open air venue, so that's going to be really cool. I'm very excited to see the stage and stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be like. I'm not sure. From what I've seen, yeah, it seems really nice, really peaceful, and very pretty as well. Yeah, it seems amazing. Well, I just want to say a big thank you. It means a lot to me that so many people support me and watch my games and cheer for me. So yeah, just thank you. And yeah, it just means a lot to me.
One more series for today. One player moves on further into the upper bracket. One player falls down to that elimination bracket. And exalted here, as we look at our final best of three, it's a ZVZ.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Bulgarian Nitix versus a guy you may have known him. He's won a couple tournaments. His name is Solar.
Yep. Well, finally a ZVZ, because when we put the bracket, I was like, yay, we are going to have at least 2 ZVZs, but then Rainer plays Terran. TVZ is fun, of course, but ZVZ is such an explosive matchup. I love it. The Link Bane stage, the Roach stage, everything is just so dynamic. The balance of workers is very crucial here. You know, people call that matchup the game of drones, and for a reason. So I am really happy that we are going to have a ZVZ for the last game of the day.
Yeah, when I think about Z, I don't know that we're going to get it this series again. I think this is probably going to get pretty aggressive. But
oh yeah,
you know, you go to the late game, right, and you get Hydra Lurker Viper, and it's like TVT Marine Tank, except there's an ability to reposition. It's my favorite part of the matchup, certainly, when we start to get this beautiful late games. But again, we're talking about this. Solar can be aggressive. Nitix absolutely is a player that can also, you know, turn out the taps just a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. He's super fast. He used to be called the Bulgarian Trickster, but when I told him yesterday, hey, Nitix, are we going to see the Bulgarian Trickster today or tomorrow? He said to me, I kind of moved on from that. Now I'm a little bit more mature, more macro-oriented, so we will see. But let's see at the V2 process. So we're going to have Oceanborn, Golden Aura, and Side Delta.
Yeah, we can certainly see his more mature, maybe macro way he wants to play this game in the map picks. Oceanborn and Golden Aura are two of the biggest maps that we have, two of the most macro maps we have in the pool. I mean, I guess if you really wanted just the perfection in macro play, we'd put Alcyone for map 3, but even still.
Yeah, Golden Aura is a map I really like, so I'm excited for that one. But let's see what Oceanborn will bring us. I think that we are going to be jumping in the game shortly, so I really cannot wait about for that series. Of course, we have a Bulgarian representative playing against a legend like Solar. I think this is a huge honor for all of us.
Yeah, and when we talk about these BSL mainstays, right? Of course,
yes.
This event that you've been running for a couple years now to really build up that Bulgarian scene.
Yes.
We had MSRM earlier, right? Who qualified in actually over Nitix in that qualifier. But you know, looking back on things, it has been Nitix that really has been winning a lot of these BSL events, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, he was the consistent champion for many years in a row. So guys, let's get ready to get into the game. I see that the map is already loaded, so we're jumping inside of it, and here in the bottom right side of Oceanborn, we have the Bulgarian representative with the blue zerk. Let's give a round of applause for Nitix. I love the crowd. Thank you guys for being here.
And on the upper left, in the red for Vitality, his name is Solar.
Nice. Let's see if somebody will do some fromage, maybe.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I see that they are both sending drones downstairs, so maybe they're going to try each other out with the macro approach.
Yeah, so when you talk about ZVZ, there are a couple breakpoints that you're really looking at as if you're watching this game, you're observing, and also you're trying to scout out, right? So first of all, do you get a natural? In this case, yes, there's a natural. It's well-timed. It's not a 14 hatch for some sort of crazy aggression, but it's 16 hatch, right? So that's step one. Step two, okay, yeah, there's going to be a pull after that, obviously, but how much gas do you get, really? When do you get the Baneling nest? And then at 28 drones, do you build a bunch of links and run across the map? Do you do you take your third base? So again, as we take a look at this, we're going to be keeping an eye on those very kind of specific benchmarks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Having the second base so early on, it's standard, right? But it doesn't mean anything. You don't build drones, you go straight for the links, and maybe the opponent doesn't see that, and you're out of the game.
Well, it does go and slow down your speed quite a bit. Again, compared to like a 12-11 or something, 13-12, one of those one-base speed builds. Yeah, you could flood lings off of a second hatch, but without gas, right, without speedlings, they don't really trade all that well whatsoever. So we've kind of passed, again, that first breakpoint, right? You have a natural done or just about done. There's going to be speed on the way eventually as we take an eye on the gas count. Other question as we get into this is, well, how many drones do you pull off gas? The standard in ZVZ is going to be 2, so you can afford Banelings later on. If you want to stay on 1 for a little bit, that means that, okay, maybe you skip the Baneling nest a little bit and you just go straight into roaches and you have that slightly better drone economy. And in fact, yeah, so Nitix, you know, he's maybe skipping a little bit of a stage here. He says, you know, I don't know that I have to worry about Bailings as much at this point. I can go and maybe get my third base that much faster.
Yeah, which shows confidence from the Bulgarian player, which I like. And yeah, here is the third base already, but I believe that Solar is going to get one shortly, and he does. But he was mining more gas until now, and I really am curious what he's going to plant with that, and we see the Bailing test.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a mandatory building, in all honesty. Yes, you might not need so many Bailings, but at least for the early stages of the ZVZ, you really, really need them.
Yeah, absolutely. As we get set up again for this mid-game,
Yes.
If you're the better player, and Solar I think is going to say he is absolutely the
for sure,
favorite here, you know,
for sure.
90-10 maybe even in his head, saying,
For
look,
sure.
I'm absolutely the better player here. You play safe. You say, look, okay, you know,
Yeah.
maybe he decides to go for 28 drones and floodlings. Maybe he has a bunch of different things. Bailings shut down, again, well-controlled Bailings. They shut down the majority of those. But again, we're talking about this. If you get less gas, if you mine less gas, you're mining more minerals, you start that Roach Warren a little bit faster. Because eventually, you know, Solar does have a Bailing nest. If Solar decided to get aggressive, you want to make sure that you do have those Roaches on the field. You don't want to make sure you get at least something that can fight against the Bailings.
Absolutely. I really like the Roach Warren here. Now we have to... Ooh! All right. Now we have to see when Solar decides to actually switch up the tech. But now Nitix is shelling away at the third base here.
Yeah, he is. He's going to get a couple of the lings as well. Now, they're going to prevent him from going and actually killing the third base, but kills off a couple lings, finds a little value. The big part about that, by the way, was just by sheer happenstance. He goes and the ling pops up onto the high ground right as that second Bailing morphs. Solar doesn't really even have an opportunity to go prevent it from exploding. It goes down, and all of a sudden, it's a 1 Bailing attack instead of a 2 Bailing attack, and that's a lot easier to deal with. A Queen can kind of target that down. You're going to be fine. And now we should see Roaches start to hit the production tab fairly quickly, but even still, even before then, you have 2 Queens here. It's only 1 Bailing. I don't think Solar has, he's got 3 Bailings now. I don't think any sort of run-by is going to happen.
Yeah.
And by the time they make contact, Queen should be able to target these
Ooh,
down.
but
One's going to fall.
Yeah, these Queens are getting surrounded though, and Solar is pushing the Bailings inside of the natural, and he killed many Lings with that. The 2 Queens are going to fall. The Lings are going to surround the coming Roaches. Nitix needs them in bulk in order to defend that.
Yeah, I was about to praise Nitix for how he's handling this. Pulls all the Lings back, lets the Roaches go and snipe the Banes, but unfortunately doesn't pull the Lings back far enough, and that means Bailings get great connections. And now, with no Queens, with nothing really here, Lings are going to get on top of these Roaches and Nitix in a horrible spot. He's not back up against the wall. He's going to lose a couple more Roaches. And while Nitix's supply is a little bit better, you know, he is building these Roaches. They're to supply. He has no Queens, or if he does, he has like 1 of them, which means no injects.
Yes.
Creep, it doesn't really matter all that much.
No.
But in a mirror, not having that injectability, not having that potential to go and build more larvae and get more drones or get more Roaches matters so much more.
It's huge. But what I like for Nitix though is that he's starting up the +1 upgrade for the Roaches, so at least in that area he's going to be further ahead, but already Solar is showing us 11 Roaches in the production tab. His economy is great. He was 10 drones ahead for some time, so he mined more than Nitix, but now he caught up.
Absolutely. Well, Nitix, you know, you talk about Solar mining much more and Nitix catching up. That just means that there is so much room for Solar to fill that supply gap with a bunch of Roaches. And he also got a lot of damage done, right? He killed these Queens. He shut down, slowed down a lot of it. Inject potentially killed some Roaches, which means that he should be able to build, and he has, built a significant army supply lead. So Nitix, ideally, you're dropping a Spine right now. Ideally, you dropped a Spine 20 seconds ago. He's got 3 on the way. I don't know that they're going to be ready in time. The Roaches are already just about here. If he takes a fight in front, like against a couple of these Roaches, it buys time for these Spines to pop up. That might keep him alive. But this is a scary timing from Solar right now.
Yeah, let's see. Of course, Nitix will have the defender's advantage, but such a huge link put here together with the Roaches. The Spines are about to pop up, but they're still not finished. Ravagers are here. They're going to shell away at the Spines. Now Solar is diving further forward in Nitix's base. And yeah, I see here that Nitix's army supply is just fading away.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. The Spines weren't well placed either, so Biles were killing 2 with 1 shot. And Solar identifies that, okay, there are these 3 Spines here, and they may cause a problem. 3 Spines do a lot of damage to Roaches. You have to be careful. But I can run right by, and I can just dive into the natural, and those 3 Spines, that 300 minerals that Nitix has spent on the defense, is not going to matter at all.
Sour doesn't look like he just won the map, you know. He's like shaking the cat and stuff like that. But I guess he's feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, just a little nonplussed. He's like, yeah, you know, I let him live more than 2 minutes into this game. How dare he? It's not, it cannot be allowed.
No, I like the Nitix's ideas, in all honesty. Just the pressure from Sour came very quickly. But Sour is a killer, man.
Absolutely, and again, I think Nitix almost pulled it off, right? You have roaches out, they can go snipe the Banes, you can go pull the queens against the wall, and kind of that gap between the mineral line and the gas, and then not a lot of surface area. But unfortunately, while the ideas were there, the execution wasn't quite where it needed to be. Baneling or Lings are pulled back, so roaches can fight, but then they're not on hold position, so they aggro in, and all the Lings die, and then, well, the queens are not where they need to be. So again, Solar really stressing the multitasking of the Bulgarian Zerg in this game. And again, we talk about this. There's a reason that Solar has won a GSL, right? He is that good. He does have that multitasking, and it's incumbent upon Nitix to find some way to stop him.
Yeah. Well, I really like the tech choice here. You know, roaches are very good against Link Bane, but when your earliest roaches gets surrounded like that, and when you lose your queens like that, it's a downhill road.
Yeah, it slows the tempo down quite a bit.
Substantially, yeah. And I feel like ZVZ is all about tempo.
Sometimes it slows down in the late game, but yeah.
In
general, if you can go and you can force your opponent to build army units, they're not building drones.
Exactly.
And that means you're building a lead. So let's see now if in the upper left, in the blue, he's got a 1-game lead. Let's see if he can turn it into 2. For Vitality, it's Solar.
Yeah, he's playing with the blue drones this time, and with the red, ladies and gentlemen, from Bulgaria, he's trailing, but he will give his best in order to tie up the series. Will he be able to do it? This is Nitix. I love the crowd. Thank you, everybody that is here supporting our players. Amazing lineup we have, and today has been extraordinary for us.
So Exalta here, we're on Golden Ore, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is map 2. This is a map that has a very easy to defend third base, depending on what base you take, a very easy to defend fourth.
Yeah, that's true.
But this is also ZVZ, right? And, you know, some of those things, yes, you can hold the high ground with roaches, but what do you think? Do we see Solar and Nitix just kind of try to dodge the roach stage and end this before the game gets too turtled up?
We'll see. I believe that we are going to see roaches by both sides, for sure.
Yeah, you know, that makes sense, right? That's the standard player, right? By the way, credit to Nitix. Again, we talked about this in the Fiance series. Nitix there's this idea like, okay, if you're the underdog, go cut corners.
Yes.
Go and find advantages for yourself. And credit to Nitix, that's what he was doing. He's like,
Oh,
look,
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
not going to mine as much gas. That means I'm mining more minerals. That means I'm going to get a roach warren. Means, yeah, banelings are going to be annoying, but if I can go survive that, well, I'm going to be very happy indeed. So again, right idea. Now the question is, in game number 2, is we're going to see him assumedly pull something out of a hat. Whether he can do it to the level that means that Solar doesn't punish him for it.
Yeah, if he ties up his defense just a little bit more, who knows? Maybe he can pull it off, and I'm curious to see what build he chooses to do right now. He will have a slightly faster link speed, but you know, nothing game-changing there.
Yeah, 5 seconds or like 2 seconds don't really mean all that much. I wonder if we could see, again, how much we're seeing in gas mining here. It looks like Nitix is maybe mining. Yeah, he's 2 out of 3. So at least Baneling War's coming out. You try to do the roach thing in game 1. It doesn't quite work out, which is funny, by the way, because theoretically, this map might be a little bit better for those kind of early roaches. The gap is wide, right? The wall doesn't require like 3 structures across to make sure you're walled off, so maybe not. But regardless, Baneling Nest on the way from Solar. We should see that going down for Nitix rather soon, based on the gas. But, you know, just because you have the money for it doesn't mean you necessarily... There we go. I was going to say, that doesn't mean you have to buy it, but there we go. Baneling Nest on the way for both sides.
Yeah, now we'll see how Nitix plays with Baneling. So, who knows? Maybe he can shine by them.
I love, by the way. So we're sitting here on top, almost on top of one of the player booths, on top of production area, great view of the crowd.
Yes.
But more importantly, we're right on top of some speakers. So like the deep bassy sound. I just heard an Overlord just go. Whoa.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's actually the sound, by the way. The Overlord sound pop out is great. Right under my feet.
Oh, Bell, that's super cool. Well, I think that Nitix is okay in this game so far.
Yeah, again, not a lot has happened, right? No one has really pressured the other. It's 27 drones to 30. Nitix, yeah, he's just running up on this point. It's not like he had a big round of lings, and you know this is fair. Now, losing an Overlord, that does slow you down a little bit. These early game Zerg build orders, every Overlord counts for quite a bit.
Yes,
if you have to buy another, that's a piece of larva, that's a drone that you're missing, that's 100 minerals.
Exactly.
It may not sound like a lot, but again, particularly in this mirror, every time you deviate from building more drones, puts you behind.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it's very tricky when exactly should you start building drones, because sometimes your opponent doesn't attack you for a while and you're like, okay, maybe I'm free to drone up, and then he hits you straight when you make that decision, you know? So you need to be on point all around the map.
Yeah, we can see just how active both players are with speedlings on the map. Making sure that if they can, they're going to get lings into their opponent's main base, into their natural. Just figure out, okay, how many drones are there? How much gas is mining? What's your layer timing? Are your Evo chambers, are they wiggling? How many Evo chambers do you have? All this is extremely important information as you try to figure out what's the timing. Are we macroing up to 3 bases? Are you pretending to macro on 3 bases and instead playing on 2 bases with drones sent over? Again, a lot of different timings. There's a ton of mind games here. But even as we talk about these different timings and mind games, Nitix has massively supply blocked himself. 5 Overlords on the way.
Yeah, they laser way, right? But still though, both of them are going clear at the same time. What do you think the deviation from this layer is going to be for each player?
You know, I don't know that there will be one. As we talked about this map, you know, maybe you can put lings and banelings on the map early and maybe try to skip the roach idea just a little bit. But now that we're in this state of the game, right, both players have that linear third base, which is so hard to attack into. +1 melee or +1 ranged on the way. All these things together, really, I don't think we're going to see too much, maybe with like +2 timings or something like that. We do have Overlord speed on the way, but generally, I don't think, yes, you could go for Dropper Lords, yes, you could go for some aggressive play, but I don't think that's really what this is going to be. And wow, Nitix, I don't know what he saw right there, but he thinks he's under the gun. And that cannot be further. Well, actually, no, never mind. We missed on the minimap. Okay, here comes Solar.
He was queuing up 12 drones. I think this is why he put the spines. But Solar is here. Are the spines going to come in time? Because they're still building. Solar is shelling away at Nitix's defenses. He's pulling drones to defend this. And I think the spines are going to go. But no, the palings of Solar actually destroyed all of the spines here. Only one remaining, and this is just bad news for the Bulgarian Zerg.
It is 12 drones have gone down. It's funny, you look at the army supply and say, well, it's 36 to 32. Nitix has more, but it's all in production. It caught everyone off guard. So now that means that Solar, he's going to back away. He's like, okay, more roaches are here. But I just killed 12 drones. I have annihilated your... He's got a 20 drone lead, right? And yes, he did have to go spend a bunch of gas for it. He did have to build those bailings to bust the spines down. But also, that was 4 spines that Nitix had to make. That is 400 minerals plus the cost of the drones. That is a big expenditure for a game where he didn't really hold. Yes, Solar backed up, but you lose 12 drones, you lose 4 spines. That's not... You're not getting any advantage out of that.
No, and we can already see 66 drones against the 54 of Nitix. This is not a good position to be in, but Nitix is trying his best to turn the game on its head, and he's going to queue up several drop awards, Mr. Bellum.
Interesting. So, you know, sometimes we do see, generally when you get Overlord speed, right, it's for just to make sure that your Overlords are more active on the map so you can see where the roaches are, so you can dodge piles. In this case, well, we got roach drops on the way. It looks like that's what Nitix is getting ready for. This can be very impactful. Four roaches in a base can get a lot done, but Nitix can't go do that for a while because there's just an overseer.
Oh, and
right on top.
Solar saw the drop awards and he was like, "You're going to drop me? Nah, brother, I'm going to drop you." And he queued up several drop awards himself.
Yeah, except anything you can do, I can do better. You're going for 2, I'm going for 4. That's the size of my economy. So 16 roaches. Getting ready to probably go into the main base and wreak some havoc here. And, well, Nitix has no idea. Solar knows exactly what's happening, but 2 ships passing in the night, and they don't see each other. So 16 roaches with +1 in the main base. I don't envy Nitix right now.
Yeah, well, the drops are here. Did Nitix see them? I think that they're in his blind spot, and yeah, some are going in the main, some are going in the natural, and this is a big army to have here. And wow, this is going on. Solar is hitting in the third base as well, 3 locations at the same time, but Nitix is counter-attacking. He's dropping here as well. He's trying his best to hold on, but 10 drones falling down, 11 drones falling down, and Bellum, I really feel that the GG, Solar wins 2-0.